The stream is live. What up?
Welcome to Two Brothaz An Idea. We back again. I'm Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines, and one of your hosts of Two Brothaz An Idea, a podcast for the brothers, male empowerment. We're going to take back control of our homes, take back control of our communities. And I got my main man here, the big homie, Tetaun. What's going on, brother?
Man, your introduction sounds like something from the Wu-Tang Clan. Man, I can't even match that, bro. I'm doing well, man. Been a long couple weeks, but couple days, but I'm doing quite well, sir. Quite well.
That's good to hear.
Quite well.
Yeah, today we got a very special topic.
Yes, we do.
BrothaHood beyond the Keypad. So this is one of those topics that it may be a little challenging pending the groups that we talk to, but we got to bring everybody together. We got to bridge that gap. Well, what are some of the ways you think we could do that in BrothaHood beyond
I think,
Keypad?
Yeah, I think what's important, one, is to do this first, right? You can like, follow, share. This is Two Brothaz An Idea. It's real simple. You can go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, just as a reminder, because this content is recorded live, but you can always catch the archive on the back end of the internet. So as I answer the question, had to do some housekeeping real quick. I think this conversation is necessary. I think a lot of times people don't consider these kinds of relationships or brotherhoods significant, right? Because you meet people on the internet every day, and the internet is full of a lot of strange people, a lot of strangers. And so I think this conversation to me would be great because we have people that we socialize with often, whether if it's the new up and coming fan base audio apps, or you may have the club based audio apps, or various social media apps such as YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and so forth and so on. So some great guests coming to share their insight, but I think there's some validity in building relationships and meeting people online, especially over time.
When I think about BrothaHood beyond the Keypad, I think some things that really stand out is the importance of that interpersonal communication. Those interpersonal communication skills that we see are lesser and lesser on a regular basis because attention spans are what they are at this point. So I think that being around the fire, going and playing pool with one of the brothers, maybe getting on the basketball court, football, maybe spades, dominoes, all of these different things. They don't require us to be face to face anymore because obviously we can play online. But the old ways is that face to face. We're engaging with each other. We're building with each other. We're noticing different things. We're tightening up on each other. So I think that these things are not necessarily missing, but I would say that we need to reinforce them.
Well, if you go back a little bit, and if you think about how these types of friendships or relationships are established, right? It's usually where you come into a circle of people or a socialized group of people, and there are some commonalities there. There are some things that we can relate to, or we can have conversation about. So you build a rapport, for example, on the fan base application, which is a audio app. Somewhat different than Facebook, but very similar to some degree. And over a period of time, you interacted with the same people. You're hearing their voices. You know what their common interests are. And so at some point, you create a clique, a bond, or a network of people that you socialize with frequently. And that materializes into various relationships where now you're taking the relationship off of the app. And now you're beginning to have phone calls. You're talking about family. You're talking about life. Matter of fact, you might meet up and have go drink, go get some bite to eat, man, and have group meetups and just build relationships that way. That's it. That's been one of my experiences, of course.
I can dig that. I think brotherhood started for me really in childhood with my father.
Oh, okay.
One of the things that I remember of the time with my dad is throwing the boomerang in the Bay Area. I think we were in Menlo Park or Palo Alto, one or the other, and that we had this big field right outside of Pastor Dew's church.
Okay.
And we lived right above the church on the second floor. And then we go outside and we throw. My dad had a boomerang. We literally would throw a boomerang. And you probably don't have a lot of children who do that today.
Right. Right.
But I think that it built a certain type of rapport, certain type of relationship between him and myself, to include many other things. One of the things that I used to do with my dad, he would take me out to the country to my grandmother's house out in Lancaster County. And Mama Ann would need different things. Sometimes she would need the grass cut. Sometimes Mama Ann would need some installation replaced under the house, or all kinds of different things, right? And we would go out there and we'd make it happen, But this was a time where I was able to have conversations with my dad, and he could have, most of the time he was having conversations with me. But but I think that it's still about brotherhood at the end of the day. I think that fatherhood falls within brotherhood, and brotherhood falls within fatherhood. They're two sides of a certain type of coin, But I've had other brotherhood opportunities where I've been able to go to other countries and spend time with other individuals, and this face-to-face time is just different than the time that we have over the computer. When we're able to see someone, not necessarily that we want to smell them, we'll be able to smell someone and be able to see their facial features, the way that they respond to things, the intensity that they put behind their words, their gestures, the way that they dress, their style, and all of these different things. It's a certain amount of value that's in that when it comes down to communication, in my opinion. And a big portion of that is lost when we focus on the keypad. But it looks like we've got a guest in the building. So before I bring the guest on, I want to let everybody out there know, listen, we really appreciate y'all coming and watching and listening to Two Brothers and an Idea. Obviously, today our episode is Brotherhood Beyond the Keypad. And so please love, share, comment, all of that, right? Tell your mama, tell your friend, tell your brother, tell everybody, right? And we got a special guest in the building, our brother Tay. I'm about to bring him to the stage.
Oh man, Tay in the building. Tay GG in the building. On, Tay?
All right, it looks like Tay. Oh, okay, all right, Tay's here.
What's going on, peoples? What's going on, man? I'm just getting on work, so excuse me, I'm driving.
Well, we just got cooking this afternoon, man. We just getting started, and the topic, as we've already discussed, man. And so we just really just putting a little seasoning in it a little bit, talking about brotherhood, how we meet, how people connect on the internet, and how relationships are formed. And so I wanted to bring in some guests. Ferdinand, one of the co-hosts of the show, brought in. We got some guests coming in. We just want to unpack conversations and what that looked like, the impact of social media, and what brotherhood really looks like for you and many others. Because I've been knowing you almost 3 years now, and we met on a social media application. And so Ferdinand and myself, man, just want to get your perspective on what does brotherhood mean to you. Give a little bit of background, where you from, and let's indulge, man, like we always do.
Yeah, we actually been knowing each other going on 4 years now, Tetaun. And brotherhood to me, actually, you and a couple more brothers actually redefined that for me. Because the brotherhood that I thought that I had, it really wasn't sufficient. It was all some BS. But as I've gotten older and I've met gentlemen like you, Tetaun, y'all have redefined that for me. And everything that we have going on, that is what brotherhood is to me. And that is accountability, accountability and acceptance. And that's what y'all been showing me anyway. And y'all are 100% accountable. I'm 100% accountable. We hold each other to the fire. There's no biasness in what we got going on. If we wrong, we wrong. If we right, we right, and we gonna move forward like that. That's brotherhood to me.
So Ferdinand, if you hear what I'm hearing, I have so many questions because a lot of times the audience really don't understand exactly what we're talking about. So I want to put it in reverse a little bit because Tay and myself, and I think Doc and a few others have met on Clubhouse app about 4 years ago. And we were just going through the sequences of events. And sometimes when you meet people online, we have this tendency of saying, hey, I don't know this brother from a can of paint. You know, I don't care how much time I spend with him talking about stuff, doing calls or interviews or whatever it may be. What it make this bond or this relationship, Tay, so unique online? And I think we met up, a couple of us met up a couple of times after which. But what makes the conversation so unique? Because you don't trust any and everybody that you talk to, and everybody you kind of deal with a kid glove on social media, especially Clubhouse and fan base.
Man, that's a good question, Tetaun. To be honest, bro, it just takes time. It takes time to learn people the same way me and you have done.
Right.
I wasn't too fond of you at first. I wasn't. That's just being honest. I wasn't too fond of you. I really wasn't too fond of any one of y'all. However, I had to put my BS to the side to be able to learn what y'all got going on to see if I can vibe with it. And for 4 years, we've been vibing with it, bro.
Oh yeah, salute, man. Salute, man. I appreciate you coming on this, having this conversation. Ferdinand, I know you're familiar with the social media app Clubhouse. What are your thoughts on some of the things that you're hearing when you're meeting strangers just on an audible app and it turns into, you know, real-time meetups, real-time relationship building, real-time brotherhood?
Well, I've met people off of certain apps. Clubhouse, not one of them, but that's only because I haven't used it very much. But I do find a lot of value in meeting up with people offline. I think it's really beautiful when you meet somebody online because you're able to kind of skip a lot of steps that you would have to go through if you met them face to face. You know, because like online, you might have, let's say Facebook, well, you got their bio up there. You can see where they went to college. You can see where they're from, and you know, all those different types of things. You can kind of get a little bit of an idea of the person that you're dealing with. When you meet somebody on the street, it's a little different. So I think that there's a balancing act with meeting people online versus face to face.
Well, Tay, I'm sure I could probably write a book about some of the events and things that have taken place on these social media apps that you and I have been a part of. But you heard what Ferdinand said, and I think there's more we can unpack from that perspective because there's a lot of weirdos and there's a lot of strange stuff that happens on these social media apps and these audio apps, man. And if you have some stories that you can remember, because I'm thinking about quite a few now to be able to share, because although there's a great side of this conversation, there's also a very weird part of the conversation where you find out that people were they wasn't Def Jam signed over $500,000 contracts to listening on to conversations and creating books to all these different personas. And you never find enough authentic people until you really spend that kind of time that you mentioned, Tay. So I know there's some stories. I know there's some unique events that have taken place where people will present one way and then you find out later that, I'll pass.
Actually, I'm gonna touch on the example that you just brought out about that whole Def Jam situation. I ain't gonna mention no names or whatever, but it was this individual. I actually had got cool with the guy. And I was believing a lot of this stuff that he was saying because I didn't fact check nothing. I was just going off of what he was saying. And that's usually what I do anyway. I give people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
However, he was just getting a little too controversial, and he started poking at different people and me as well. And I did my own little research and come to find out this guy wasn't none of the stuff that he was saying. He said that he had signed with Def Jam for $500,000 or something like that. Come to find out, he's not on Def Jam's artist list nowhere. Period. Nowhere. Period. And this is public record. He's not on there. Period. So, and then he wrote this
bro,
book.
I don't know if you can hear me. You kind of breaking up a little bit.
No, I hear him good.
When you're able to stop it. You said you could hear him good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, it was breaking up on this end. My bad.
All right, Tay, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. So he wrote this book about self-love. It's about 30-some pages. I'm not gonna hate on the book. The book was actually good. Because of course, me and my wife got it. However, the book came from stolen material. And this is the type of rhetoric that people on social media and these audio apps dive into. They put this mask on and try to make you believe this, that, and the third when they ain't living like that. And they're trying to present themselves as some type of counselors or therapists, trying to give all this advice and information about how to heal when they ain't healed themselves. And that narrative goes on and it's tearing people down. And this is the narrative that we keep seeing over and over again with certain people on social audio apps like Fanbase and Clubhouse.
So do you think a lot of the stuff that we find in certain social media platforms are very controversial, right? You have this woman versus man war that goes on. You have these conversations about reparations. You have a lot of conversations about ethnicity and culture. And it seems to be sometimes you find these little holes of pockets of people arguing and fighting over a lot of the things that they're not even experiencing. So when you talk about these Audible apps or these social media apps and platforms, why is it so convenient for people to put on fronts or to perform, or more so just masquerade around with these false identities? What is the objective here? What do you think the objective is here?
The objective is to be seen and heard. They haven't had a voice. And this is a way for them to get heard regardless of who's hearing it and regardless of what they're saying. They haven't had this much attention a day in their life.
Well, yeah. You know, I was talking to Ferdinand a couple of days ago. We were having a conversation somewhat similar, but it becomes very challenging when you're dealing with people. And as we mentioned earlier on the top of the show, we're talking about communication and different communication styles. And I've learned that on social media, Audible apps, when you are just listening intensively to someone and really understanding what they're saying, because communication is not just talking, but it's also listening as well and comprehending what is being said, you find out a lot about people. And then there's a lot of interesting stories. There's a lot of networking that goes on. Although we look at a lot of the negative things that take place, what are some things that you have found that has been beneficial for not only yourself, but also building relationships and strengthening the bond with people that are all across the world, all across the United States? You're on
Your
mute.
microphone. Hey, Tay, your microphone is off.
Okay, is it good now? It keep going back and
You
forth.
good?
I'm good.
Yeah, you
All
good.
right. So, I'm glad you asked that, Tetaun. I benefited tremendously in many type of ways from social audio. I'm gonna start off with the learning first. I'm adamant about learning something new every day.
Right.
Regardless of what it is, it's something that I didn't have before I entered into these social audio rooms or whatever. And I learned something about somebody every day, regardless if it's good or bad. And it's also taught me how to communicate better with different groups of people, people that I don't like, people that I have nothing in common with, people that I'm trying to network with. That has helped me communicate with all these different groups of people effectively. And I think I'm also helping people to actually think about the word choices that they use uh, in context.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so the communication part, that is the main thing that I'm really getting out of social audio apps is different communication styles with different people,
Right.
because I'm not the only person. I'm learning just like you're learning from me.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think in those 4 years, you meet so many different types of people, right? In so many different type of professional fields, trades, business people. I mean, there was a time during COVID where you had any and everybody on Clubhouse. And I found it interesting because as COVID began to, somewhat become lesser of the conversation, you started to find out that a lot of people were traumatized. There's a lot of people that have been through a lot of trauma and a lot of different issues, a lot of mental health concerns and issues. And then you have this influx of people that will come on these apps and they're angry, they're bitter, they're confrontational, they can't hold concentration in healthy conversations. And so you see a lot of that happening as well. But I do think that what I found unique, going back to the topic, was that the brotherhood that I found with you, with Doctor Accountability, of course, with Bad, and some of the other brethren in there, the relationships I found with you guys have been very encouraging to me, and mostly because sometimes when you spend that kind of time with people, they become you remind them of one another, of each other, right? We become mirrors of each other. We have similar thoughts, different ages, different experiences, but we were very relatable to each other on different aspects. And so what I found that was really dope is that when we met up, I met with Doc in Oklahoma, and there was a couple of meetups in Atlanta, man. But it just seems like every time we don't talk for about a week, we don't talk for about a month, we always pick up as if we left off, man. And so one I found that was important to me is that I like gentlemen that are integral. We get on the phone after we get off the app, and we're having these conversations about fatherhood, having these conversations about manhood. And just to know that you can have a group of brothers that hold themselves accountable, that have real conversations, that are people that are striving to live a better life, And so, Ferdinand, I don't know about you, but have you ever heard of the Fanbase app?
I have I have heard of Fanbase. I haven't used it, but I've heard some good things about it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting networking app, very similar to Clubhouse. This is where I've met Tay and a couple other brothers. We kind of congregate between both platforms. But what is really interesting about the communication app is that you have your bios, you have your landing pages, you have your TikTok mirroring videos. What this brother has done, Isaac Hayes has done, is basically taken all the platforms, all the social media platforms, all of their communication styles, and put them on one fan-based platform. And the more time you interact with people, you have an opportunity to invest in the app. You have an opportunity to earn money. And so It's a very interesting communication tool. But as we were talking earlier, and a couple of gentlemen are coming in and out, brother, I just want to appreciate the opportunity to also plug the fact that this particular conversation is important not only to Two Brothaz An Idea, but this conversation is important to I Am Ingenious, because we're bringing you new creative ideas and concepts. That's a cool plug. What you think about that, Ferdinand? We should start doing those little commercial plugs and conversation, right?
I think that's the way there.
But yeah, man. It's always a better way to socialize, man. And I just found the Clubhouse, building relationships with gentlemen across the world, being able to get to know their families. I know their children. I've spoken with their wives. We've spent time together, husbands, just talking about that real family conversation, man. And so, although it's not always the best thing when you got stuff to do, so it's kind of like a time management crunch, because it goes from being a visual platform to now you're sitting here and you guys are either strategizing, business planning, or doing something creative, man. So I think the Fanbase app is a very creative space, and you meet a lot of great people there.
And that, thank you for bringing that up. Isaac Hayes doing his thing out there, bringing a platform that brings everything full circle. So
no doubt
that those are out there in existence.
No doubt.
But when I think about beyond the keypad, I think about camping.
Camping. What we camping to?
Camping, maybe some bike rides.
Okay.
I think about some different things where we connect in brotherhood. Maybe golfing, 18 holes. What y'all think?
Golfing is pretty dope. I mean, for me, I'm a drone flyer, bro. So I'm a lefty. Let me tell you a story about golfing. Me and my wife went to, and some friends went to. Where did we go? Went to the little. What do you call that golf place? What is it called?
I think
Top Golf.
Miniature. Oh, Top Golf. Okay.
And I'm not paying attention because I'm not a golfer, and I have a left-handed. I'm left-handed, and I'm out here for the first couple of holes with a right-handed club, and I'm swinging around like Charlie Brown, and it was crazy. It didn't dawn on me until I looked down and said, "Wait a minute, I got the wrong club." It still didn't matter because I didn't redeem myself, not one bit, man. But I think some of those ideas would be extraordinary to be able to go out and do something. I camp with my family, but I don't know about, a bunch of brothers camping. I mean, what else we going to do? Shoot some ball, go fishing, hunting. What else we going to do?
Well, all of that's a possibility. Get on the boat and
fishing.
Fishing is an option. Okay. Racing on the boats, sailboats.
Okay.
All of that, jet skis. I mean, there's a lot that can be done. And at the end of the day, when we think about brotherhood, it's also about strengthening ability, strengthening virtues. So there needs to be some challenges in there. And the best place to conduct those challenges is out in nature, out in those forests, out in those state parks.
Yeah.
Out on those waterways where there's no help, where you can't call 911.
Yeah.
Right. This is where we step into our deeper spaces of manhood.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a line from Grizzly Adams or Outback Jack. But I love the outdoors. Don't get it twisted. I love the outdoors. I love going out there and, enjoying the sand and the sun and the forest. But I'm only good for about 3 days, sir. After 3 days, I have to rise up out of there. So Tay, welcome back, sir. I know you got some technique. You made it home yet from Atlanta?
Yeah, man. I don't made it back. I just can't go inside the house because I got all them kids in there and they doing what they do.
Well, I mean, I know you got a busy schedule, man. I just wanted to bring you guys on, you, Doc, and Bad, and just all have a group conversation. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get everybody on at one time, but if you can leave us with some of your wisdom, man, and some things that you can encourage others about, because your story is a very unique and very interesting story. And I don't think enough people had an opportunity to hear your story. And maybe we can say that for another time. But if you can just leave us with some wisdom about brotherhood, family, and be able to drop some nuggets with us, man, I would really appreciate it. And also how we can follow you on your Instagram, your social media, or even connect with you on the fan base or Clubhouse application.
All right. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. First and foremost, I am Tay GG. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, by the way of College Park. I'm 38 years old. I'm a father of 5. I am married. I've had a rough life, but I'm not complaining. We gotta keep making it do what it do. We cannot have excuses. We have to be accountable for everything that we do as a person. We have to. Other than that, you missing some steps because you did it, regardless of what it is. Every action has a reaction, and every reaction has a consequence / reward. And all of that is yours because you have to own it. It's yours. Don't put it on nobody else. Own up to whatever. And I can guarantee you, your life will be 10 times better. You will feel 10 times better. Just be accountable about whatever it is. If you did it, you should not be ashamed of it because you the one did it. Learn from it. Don't be ashamed of it. Learn from it and keep it moving. Make life decisions better. Cultivate that into your everyday life, even with your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, however you want to do it. But incorporate accountability in everything that you do. Every single thing that you do. My life ain't been peaches and cream, man. I can use all the excuses that you can come up with. Any excuse that you can think of, I can use it.
Right.
I choose not to. I've been to prison. I've done all that. I got felonies. I got all that. I'm a black man too. But that ain't stopping me from doing what I need to do to take care of not only myself, but my wife and my 5 kids. And on top of that, be a productive citizen in this thing that we call a world.
All right.
I'm still doing all of that. And I know these folks don't like me. I know these folks don't want me out here. I know these folks want to send me and put me up under a jail somewhere. I know these things.
Right.
But I ain't finna let none of it stop me from doing nothing that I want or desire or need to do. And I'm gonna leave it right there, and we can touch on some more stuff a whole nother time, buddy. You know I'm with it.
Well, man, I appreciate you, man. You that dynamite stick that we throw in there, man. You know, if you've been in war, that's that last leg to come in there and blow it all up, man. So I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate you coming in, stepping in, and giving your commentary, man. So we look forward to bringing you guys back on and having more in-depth conversations, brother. Enjoy your family. Take care of yourself, man. And I'll definitely follow back with you, man. Blessings to you and your wife.
Oh, yeah. And you can also follow me on IG. Tay GGDA Barber. Again, TAEGGDABARBER.
Thank you, Tay.
Pleasure,
salute you, sir.
Oh man, amazing message from the brother Tay GG.
Tay GG
out there in Atlanta. Yeah, y'all go down, y'all support that brother. All right, y'all go spend some money with that brother. He got 5 children in the house, and he doing the job that need to be done. He taking control of his home. He putting in that work in his community. Y'all go down there, y'all support that brother.
Yeah, that's amazing, brother, man. He if you hear his story, you would be at awe. I mean, he was incarcerated from the age of 14. And, you know, grew up in a wonderful family. Parents, middle class, everything. But he made choices. You know, he got involved in a whole lot of different things. And it wasn't until he did his last bid that the light bulb came on. Wait a minute. Time is wasted. I'm wasting too much time in my life. And so to be able to meet this brother 4 years ago and to see him now understanding the value of accountability, some of the conversations and the think tanks that we had created off the application, meeting and just talking about life and family, man, and being able to encourage one another, man, you see how important relationships are when they're authentic, man. So Tay is one of my good guys, man. He's out there, brother, and there's many other brilliant brothers that you can meet that not even from your hometown, man. These are random people that you intersect with each and every day. And so that was a great interaction. There's many brothers that I've interacted with, great writers, business people, you name it, man. You know, the network has expanded. And so I'm just anxious to see what 2025 and at the end of 2024 going into 2025 and what that looks like going forward.
I think that's the beauty of brotherhood.
Yeah.
Beyond the keypad.
Yeah.
Is what you just said. You know, the network has expanded every year. You know, and a lot of those expansions have been of righteousness, great relationships that you've probably leaned on for a lot of different purposes, and they was able to lean back on you for different purposes.
Absolutely.
You know, so this is the beauty of brotherhood beyond the keypad. And I think that this is something that I think we need to really touch on in our homes on a regular basis, is creating that brotherhood beyond these and the iPads and the computers. And I'm also one of those people who need to work on that. You know, I've got 5 children in the house. We got 6 total, but we got 5 who live here. And there's a brotherhood that needs to be established over here, that has been established over here, but it needs to continue to be cultivated. It needs to be fertilized. It needs to keep growing. Those seeds that have been planted in the children needs to keep growing, you know? So brotherhood beyond the keypad has so many layers to it. When
I think about it, man, there's a lot of respect that I have for certain relationships that I build with people and individuals. But one of the things I found unique about these type of relationships is that there's no real expectation but for you to be who you are, right? A lot of times we find it more easy trying to create a persona or be something that you're not, when authentically, if you just be who you are, there's no reason for you to seek out any validation or acceptance, because you know who you are and you exist as you are. And so the beautiful thing, man, is just being able to have authentic people, man. People that don't have to put on no front. People will say, look, I have it if I have it, if I don't, if I don't. Love, genuine respect, and honored relationships. Man, we get off the line, man. We talk about marriage. We talk about life, raising children, blended families, to a lot of the topics that you and I discuss right here. I've had these conversations. I'm sure you've had these conversations, man, day in and day out, man. And I just think that there's some great value as we strengthen the bond with one another, our families. You know, a lot of times we could talk about a lot of things, but don't find ourselves operating in those things that we often talk about. So to reverse that, you have to live and be and exist in true authenticity and being who you are. The internet always finds a way for you to, you know, say all the right thing, but never say the real thing. You know how that goes, you know, because image is everything. And when image is everything, Ferdinand, too often we find ourselves telling a lie.
You know, I'm glad that you brought up authenticity and being genuine, because I think that really matters a lot. This life that we're living is not supposed to always be hard. There are supposed to be some hard challenges, but most of our life is truly supposed to be effortless, because we're walking the path of who we are. And when we do that, what happens is everything that's for us, it just falls right into our lap at the time that we need it, at exactly the time that we need it, in the exact amounts that we need. And this is the beauty of walking in righteousness in who we are, being being in that space of just
Right.
being okay with other people maybe not being okay with who you are. And when we're in that space, that puts us in a very, very special position of vibrational frequencies, of receiving in correspondence what is ours, because it is the law. And that is a part of brotherhood, as far as not necessarily a part of brotherhood, but that brings the proper brothers to you, the ones that are supposed to be around you, versus you trying to be somebody else that you ain't, and now you attracting people that shouldn't be around you. Hey, but I want to we got another guest coming in the building. I want to go ahead and thank everybody who's here, who's giving comments, who's watching, who's listening, interacting. Please continue to comment, love, share, all of that. And we got a good brother in the building, Brother Gumby. About to bring him to the stage.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, hell no.
What's going on, Gumby?
Boy, stop playing in our ears and our face, man. What is going on here, boy? That's weird.
Hey, oh, come on, man. I'm in the bathroom. I was just jacking off.
Oh, God. What we doing?
I was just jacking off. I've been here jerking off.
Bruh.
Yeah, you guys want to see?
No, man. Well, how did he get in this feed? Go ahead and kill your home. That's your homeboy?
Yeah. He was just over. We're about to jerk off together.
What the?
Sorry, so we went ahead and got the guest off of I thought that Mr. Gumby was your friend. Sorry, y'all. Apologies for everybody who that may have offended. We got Mr. Gumby up out of here. Mr. Gumby won't.
Where did he come from?
I put the every week I'm putting the link in the chat in the comments. So he clicked on the link and he decided to come in. I'm sitting back like, why is he talking about what is?
Hold on. Forget about that. Let's stay right here. I'm throwing away why a grown man wearing a gummy costume on, looking like a Muppet. I didn't. It threw me off. I was like, who was? I think that's just one of your friends.
I thought that was your boy.
No, he's on third. No, he's on second. He's on third. I don't know who's on first.
I was like, man,
what is happening right now? Minutes, bro. I'm like, yo, you got the control key, bro. Hit the button. I'm like, what is this?
Oh,
man. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Oh man,
that's bizarre. And you know what?
Like I said, everybody at home, apologies about that. We wasn't expecting that craziness. We do want to encourage our brothers to come in the studio and be a part of this conversation. But yeah, if you're gonna come and be a part of this conversation, you got to show up correct. You got to show up with respect, dignity. Show you. Be correct when you show up.
Well, yeah, we got to start vetting some of these folks that pop up in here with this link, man. Because that was weird. I thought he was gonna hand out a hamburger or some small fries or something. He had the costume on.
Hamburgers and small fries. Oh man. Whew.
Oh boy.
That was something else. I'm sitting back like, who is Mr. Gumby? But I'm like, this is Tetaun homeboy over here.
Oh man, I don't know no Gumby. I don't know no Gumby. Don't put that on me. We're gonna charge that to the internet.
Yeah, but everybody out there, listen, we're talking about brotherhood beyond the keypad. Go ahead and click the link. It's in the comments on whichever platform. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram. We live. I think that's where we live at. All those, right? So go ahead and click that link. Come on up in here. Let's talk about brotherhood. Let's talk about how to strengthen brotherhood. How do we come together? What are the kind of things that we should be doing?
So I don't know if that was the intention, but I think what I have learned about brotherhood and how it's strengthened it has to start with trust. That trust factor is important. I mean, I think, the loyalty, we hear loyalty, right? But I think time is important. How the kind of time that you spend with this brother. Do you love this brother as if it was your own brother? Because when we hear brotherhood, it doesn't necessarily mean by blood, right? So the invested time that I have put in building a relationship has not always been perfect. But the idea is that you build a relationship with the brother as if we're in combat. Well, I want this brother, Ferdinand. Will I want that brother, so-and-so, in the foxhole with me when it's time to go to war? If you can stand in that foxhole when it's time to go to war, then I'm willing to serve you. I'm willing to serve with you. I'm willing to fight with you. And so I think that level of commitment, that level of honor, that level of strength, and also, most importantly, that iron that sharpens iron, right? Being able to have that iron that when I need a little bit of encouragement here, when I need a little bit of rebuke here, when I need a little bit of strength here, sometimes I just need a brother to just hear me out. You know what I'm saying? And to understand, to be patient, because sometimes, man, brotherhood, man, is one of the most beautiful things next to, just being strong family unit. When I can pick up the phone and say, hey, bro, I need help. Or I just pick up the phone and the brother just begins to share things, encourage me, give me insight. Matter of fact, these things happen often because when you do unto others as you want them to do unto you, man, and this relationship that we call brothers, then those brothers will remain with you by your side until infinity and beyond, right? Because you're not only just building a relationship, but you're building a community. And that's what I wanted to leave with, being able to build a community of brothers that will go forward and duplicate themselves. Leaders begot leaders. Families begot families. Stronger communities begot stronger communities.
I agree with that. And I think that one of the strongest cases of brotherhood that I've been able to be a part of for the last 20 years is with my homeboy Ron Shaw. He's the sergeant major over at Defense Media Activity on
Right.
Fort Meade. And Sergeant Major Shaw and we came into advanced individual training the same year, 2004, Defense Information School, Fort Meade. And we've been friends ever since. Dimpos. Yeah, and I think that along the way, we found ways to help each other deal with challenges. Along the way, we had laughs. Along the way, we had cries. Along the way, we had a couple of drinks. And this builds bonds. He's had children. I've been able to support, his fatherhood. I've had children. He's been able to support my fatherhood. So this is important. We need more of these types of relationships that last for a lifetime.
Yeah, it reminds me. It reminds me of that song "Lean on Me." Remember that song back in the day?
Yeah.
Call on me, brother, when you need a hand. What does it feel like when you're able to pick up the phone when you can't call and contact nobody else, but it's always that brother. No matter what hour, what time of day it is, you call that brother, he's gonna be there for you.
Fair East Side. By that side will stand.
Yeah, I remember that one too, man. Lean on Fair East Side. Well, man, this is a pretty fun conversation, man. I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of this that you and I are doing is an example of what these conversations have always been about. Although you and I do not always agree or may see things from different perspectives, I'll say that there's always a sense of commitment and trust, but knowing that you have my best intent and I have your best intent, or vice versa. We understand and we're building and we're growing together. And so, brother, I salute you today as a great brother, good brother, and as many brothers that I've interacted with online. Of course, I've known you personally, but it's always good to extend an invitation to your brethren each and every day, as often as you can, to let them know that you appreciate them, you appreciate the encouragement and all of the support. So that's important to me. And so we've had we've been through some journeys, brother. And you and I know we've been through some some highs and some lows, man. But salute to you, sir.
I appreciate you not coming to see me.
Oh man. I don't know if that was the parasites talking or the Walking Dead walking. But man, can you imagine? And we talked about this, but so much goes on in the complexity of life that you're not even aware of how you're really responding to the stress or responding to the trauma, or whatever it may be, and be able to function. You know, I'm glad I didn't. I probably wouldn't even be here, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I didn't go to that extreme over something so small, and then to be able to come back together and continue the work. You know, absolutely. So that's divine within itself. You know,
when I think about when I think about brotherhood, I think this is what I want to conclude with. I think about a trinity of myself,
oh Lord,
yourself, and Chuck, and I'm very thankful for that time in my life. You know, most people don't really know much about that time where. Maybe this was 5 or 6 years ago, where Chuck, myself, and you were all entangled at this time, this spiritual entanglement that happens between us. And Chuck starts to teach us both. And the lessons that you got were for you, obviously. And then the lessons I got were for me. I was able to spend 2 or 3 months with Chuck. And I listened for a long time. I followed up on a lot of the lessons that he gave, and I learned so much on the spiritual journey as a result of that brother's righteous teachings. And I think that this happens as a result of brotherhood. The brotherhood that you and I had coming together, it opened the door for Chuck to come in and be a spiritual teacher to us both. And I think that we've had a lot of blessings, been able to grow because of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you talking pandemic, pre-pandemic, no one knew what was getting ready to happen. Boom. People, places, and experiences. We all cross paths and we go on our journey. And so I would love to get Mr. Vortex on this call and get him in here and allow him to unleash some of the wisdom and knowledge that he's obtained over the years. Great brother. And I wish his wife and children, all the well. All the well.
Absolutely. So that right there, y'all, is episode 14. We were diving deep into brotherhood beyond the keypad. We really want to thank everybody who came in, threw some comments up. We got Davey Smith over here.
What's up, Dave? Hey, that's my good brother there, man. Dave Smith is running for Portsmouth City Council, man. Give it up if you out in Portsmouth, Virginia. If you out in Portsmouth, Virginia, remember Dave Smith. Look him up, the third. This brother is a brilliant brother. I love this brother. He sticks closer to me like no other, man. And I want you all to know that he is going to be an extraordinary city councilman for the city of Portsmouth. If you live in Portsmouth, remember to vote for Dave Smith. I didn't mean to drop that in there, Ferdinand, but that's a good friend of mine. I love that brother to death, man.
Hey, it's all good. I'm happy that the brother is doing his thing, focusing on serving the people. So yeah, definitely get out there and support Davey Smith, y'all. And I want to give a big shout out to the brother Tay, who came on the line.
Oh, yes.
All kinds of great energy, all kinds of great information. Yes. It's really, really important that we all walk this path of accountability. I think that's one of the biggest things that we can take from the brother's message.
Right. And I do appreciate him, man. Everyone has unique, different relationships, man, but he's like a little brother, but he's also like a big brother. You like a little brother sometimes, and you also like a big brother sometimes. But that's just the understanding that we all are learning, and no man is greater than the other. And to be able to be humble enough to listen and understand and grow together, man, that's a beautiful thing, man. That's absolutely a beautiful thing, because it makes us better men. It makes us better fathers, but most importantly, it makes us better leaders. Because if you can't follow nobody, if you ain't got no footprint in the game of being a student, then who will follow you but your shadow? And it depends on how bright the sun shine, Ferdinand, if your shadow still follow you.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
But until next time, y'all. Hey, listen. I hope y'all listening. Expose your gift.
Nah.